x equal to 2, x of t is negative of 1. So this is minus pi by 2, minus 2 pi I mean. Hope the second part is also clear. Now we move on to the third part of the problem, where we have to determine the value of this expression. Now this expression is quite familiar to us, and we have seen it many times in our Parseval's relation. So in order to solve for this expression, we must refer to the Parseval's relation. So from Parseval's relation, we eventually get minus infinity to infinity x of t whole square dt will be equal to 1 over twice pi minus infinity to infinity x of j omega squared d omega. So taking the right hand side to the left hand side, minus infinity to infinity x of j omega squared d omega. This 2 pi will be multiplied in the left hand side, which is in our case the right hand side now, twice pi minus infinity to infinity x of t squared dt. Now instead of taking the limit of minus infinity to infinity, we can simply take the limit to be negative 1 to positive 3, because outside of negative 1 in the negative axis and outside of positive 3 in the positive axis, the curve will give us the value of 0. So integrating for this part and integrating with this part will yield the value to be 0, and hence we can disregard this 2 part and change the limit from minus infinity to infinity to negative 1 to 3. Twice pi remains as it is, so x of t whole squared dt. Now dividing the expression a bit further, twice pi negative 1 to 0, from negative 1 to 0 we get x of t whole square dt. dt, and we can write the expression 0 to 2 x of t squared dt plus 2 to 3 x of t whole square dt. Just simply expanding the expression in 3 different parts, because here we have a rise, here we have a fall, and here again we have a rise. So if we integrate in 3 different parts, like from here to here, here to here, and from this point to this point, it becomes easier. So now in order to do so, we are to determine the equation of this straight line, and this straight line. And this can be done from the equation of straight line passing through 2 points, which is a concept of the intermediate geometry, where we use the 2 points through which a straight line passes and determine its equation. So if the points are x1 and y1 and x2 and y2, the equation is for passing through x1, y1 and x2 y2. The equation is y minus y1 divided by x minus x1 equals to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Now in our case, y is x of t. The y-axis is x of t and the x-axis is t. The x-axis here is t. So for the first part, for the first expression over here, if you consider for the point of -1 0 and that is -1 0 and 0 comma 1, 0 comma 1. So the straight line passing through these 2 points will have the equation. If you want, you can plug in the values in this equation. I shall not do it for you, and simply write the expression. This becomes t plus 1. Similarly, the straight line passing through 0 comma 1, that is this point, and 2 comma negative of 1 will give us the expression 1 minus t, and finally passing through 2 comma negative 1 and 3 comma 0 will give us the equation 3t minus 3. So simply we can replace this equation in this integral and solve for the value. So minus infinity to infinity x of j omega whole square d omega is equal to twice pi minus 1 to 0. The first expression is t plus 1 whole squared because there is a square dt. Second expression from 0 to 2, 1 minus t whole squared dt, and the third expression being 2 to 3, t minus 3 whole squared dt. Now if you solve this expression, the result will be 8 pi. I hope you will solve it in your own time. And so we get the third part of the question, which is this value minus infinity to infinity x of j omega whole square d omega to be equal to 8 pi. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope the problem is clear to you all, and with that we have solved many problems from the continuous time Fourier transform. So in summary, what I would like to say is that in order to solve the problems, you need to have a strong command over the properties of the continuous time Fourier transform, and also you must be able to observe the problem and have an instinct within you, which will essentially tell you to go to which path in solving the problem or which property to use. That you need to grow by solving various other problems. And finally, you must also remember the synthesis and analysis equation, and where to use the synthesis equation and where to use the analysis, and where to use the analysis equation to solve the problem. So if you can master these capabilities, I hope the problems on Fourier transform will be very easy to you. It will come very easy, and I hope you will be able to answer them in the question paper of your term. So that is all for today. I hope you have understood all the problems. Feel free to contact me for any problem that you face regarding these mathematical problems. And good day to you all.